Jesus was arrested and taken to the high priest. Jesus was questioned and accused by many religious officials there. Then, early Friday morning, they took Jesus to Pilate for a trial.
Hey Kids Planet, today I thought I would take you all on a little adventure with me to a place that has always reminded me of the Easter story. Last week we talked about how important Pilate was in the Easter story and how God's timing is perfect. And the week before that, we learned all about Judas and how even when things don't seem to be going well, God has a plan. And today, I'm super excited because we are going to talk about one of my favorite people in the Bible, Mary, Jesus' mom, and another woman named Mary Magdalene, who was a close friend of Jesus. So let's go! We're not quite there yet. I just wanted to stretch. Once we get to our destination, we'll talk about the resurrection eggs that I've been making as we go through the Easter story. Plus, I have one I still need to fill up once we get there. I am so excited to be talking about where one of my favorite people in the Bible fits into the Easter story and getting to talk about the happy ending that the Easter story has. That actually might be the part I look forward to sharing with my grandkids the most.
I love Easter so much. It's been really fun going through all the Easter stories and the resurrection eggs, Granny.
When can I open the next one?
Well, Matthew, how do you do it now?
Everyone! Hi!
Here, let me help you with that, Granny Cammy.
Thank you so much. I spooked them on myself. It's just so hard carrying all that.
Happy Easter. Hey, sis, what'd you bring?
Do you remember those treats we had when we were kids? The marshmallow ones. It had to be about 100 years ago.
Granny Cammy, you're not that old.
Am I that old, Matthew? I love those treats, and they have such an important story to go with them.
These treats have a story to go with them? I don't remember that.
Are we gonna make them?
Well, we sure can.
But Matthew, don't you want to open up that egg?
Sure.
A sponge? Granny, are we doing chores today? I hate cleaning.
Matthew, you're so dramatic. Actually, I don't remember this part of the story either, Granny.
I believe this is a story about Jesus on the cross. Is that right, Hanny?
Alex, remember how last week we left off talking about Pilate agreeing to get Jesus sent off to die?
Right, and then he carried the cross a long, long way.
Say, how about we go hide these eggs for the littles to find later? Did you guys know that Mary was there to see all of it?
Mary saw it all, Granny? That would be so sad.
Yes, it would. I can't imagine seeing any of my babies die, especially on a cross.
Now, Mary's story was very interesting, though. She knew that Jesus was special even before he was born. She knew he was the Son of God and that he was going to save the world.
That's right. Mary knew that God's words are true, and she trusted what he had told her.
I still can't remember when a sponge is part of the Easter story, Granny.
Well, the Bible tells us that there was a group of women watching Jesus be put on a cross. Mary and another woman named Mary Magdalene.
Jesus also had John say that he would take care of Mary once he was gone.
Same John that wrote part of the Bible?
Yep, that same one.
Wow, Granny. John must have been a really good friend. I can't believe I never knew that before.
Yes, he was a good friend. Let me find that part in the Bible. When Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved.
No, that's John.
Yes, it is. You're right. He said to her, "Dear woman, here is your son." And he said to this disciple, "Here is your mother." And from then on, this disciple took her into his home.
But what about the sponge, Granny?
Hold your horses, mister. Should I read that part?
Yes.
All right, found it. Jesus knew that his mission was now finished. And to fulfill scripture, he said, "I am thirsty." A jar of sour wine was sitting there. So they soaked a sponge in it, put it on a hyssop branch, and held it up to his lips. When Jesus had tasted it, he said, "It is finished." Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit.
Oh, yeah. They gave him a sponge because he was thirsty.
And then he just dies?
Well, not really, Matthew. You see, Jesus knew that God's words are true, so he knew that it was his time to go, for now at least.
And a lot of things happened when Jesus died on that cross. The Bible tells us that there was a big earthquake. A giant curtain in the temple was torn in half. It was a crazy day. Here, listen. The Roman officer and the other soldiers at the crucifixion were terrified by the earthquake and all that had happened. They said this man truly was the Son of God.
So people believed in Jesus once he was dead?
Sort of. It was the start of a lot of people believing. But while Jesus was dead, there was also a lot of people wondering if he would actually come back.
Which he did, of course.
But not many people believe it yet, Alex. We can't even be sure that after Jesus died, Mary, his own mom, still thought she could see him again. In fact, the Bible doesn't say whether or not she got to see him after he returned.
That's crazy.
I feel like you're throwing out some major spoilers, guys.
You already know how this story ends, silly.
This place always reminds me of the tomb where they buried Jesus before Easter Sunday. This is quite a bit bigger than the tomb they used, and a tomb wouldn't have a path through it like this one. But since this place is so important to me, I'm going to take a picture here so I can show my grandkids one day.
What's this for?
That's linen, right? They would have used that to wrap up Jesus in before they put him in the tomb.
Did I miss it? Did you finish the story without me?
Nope, you're just in time. We were about to talk about the fabric from the egg.
Actually, we can start on these Easter treats as Granny tells you the next part.
Treats?
Yeah, we're gonna roll out these crescent rolls just like the linen he pulled out from the egg. And the marshmallows represent Jesus.
Let's see what the Bible has to say. Following Jewish burial customs, they wrapped Jesus' body with the spices in long sheets of linen cloth. The place of crucifixion was near a garden where there was a new tomb never used before. And so, because it was the day of preparation for the Jewish Passover, and since the tomb was close at hand, they laid Jesus there.
chance to come out here when I can. I feel like it really helps me connect with the Easter story and visualize something similar to the tomb. But I've got to start driving home now. I don't want to be late for Easter dinner with my family. Oh, I almost forgot something. This one will be perfect.
Here you go, sweetheart. Open it.
It's a pretty rock.
Do you know what this clue means for the Easter story, Carrie? When they put Jesus in the tomb, they rolled a big, big rock in front so no one could get in or out.
What's a tomb?
Well, mister, this is what I always pictured when people would talk about the tomb in the Easter story.
Oh my, we really did love the image.
See, the tombs they had were like rooms that they carved out of a rock instead of cemeteries like we have now.
Do you think we could go to Hanny sometime, Granny?
Sure, that sounds swell.
So this is kind of like the stone they rolled in front of the tomb?
That's right, Carrie. And then Easter morning. Should we read this next part, Granny?
Good idea, honey. Early on Sunday morning, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and found that the stone had been rolled away from the entrance. She ran and found Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved.
Now remember, that was John.
Oh yeah,
Yep, that's right.
Mhm. She said they had taken the Lord's body out of the tomb and we don't know where they have put it.
Oh, I think that's the trick. I'll be right back.
Are you saying that someone kidnapped Jesus?
Matthew, you know this part. Jesus rose again.
Yeah, but did someone see him or was it just an empty cave?
Let her get to it. Go ahead, Granny.
Now let's see some of these treats first.
Absolutely. Go ahead and dig in.
The marshmallow's gone. Did you take them out?
Remember earlier when we said the marshmallow was like Jesus? The tomb is empty.
Whoa. Where's the next part, Granny?
Mary was standing outside the tomb crying, and as she wept, she stooped and looked in. She saw two white-robed angels, one sitting at the head and the other at the foot of the place where the body of Jesus had been laying. "Dear woman, why are you crying?" the angels asked her. "Because they have taken away my Lord," she replied, "and I don't know where they have put him."
So when did she see Jesus again?
Now hold on, Matthew. Now you're the one spoiling the ending.
All right, where was I? She turned to leave and saw someone standing there. It was Jesus, but she didn't recognize him. "Dear woman, why are you crying?" Jesus asked her. "Who are you looking for?" She thought he was the gardener. "Sir," she said, "if you have taken him away, tell me where you have put him and I will go and get him."
So she didn't know that she was talking to Jesus?
Well, not at first, but then Jesus said her name and she knew it was him.
And she was so happy, Jesus told her to run and tell the disciples that he has risen.
So it does have a happy ending.
Easter really is the best. What a beautiful story of Jesus making such a tough choice and going through all of that just for each and every one of us. This week, try to find some time to talk about Easter with your family and tell them all about what you learned today. Remember, we know that God's words are true, and Easter has to be one of the coolest true stories ever. I'm really looking forward to Easter dinner tonight, but I bet someday when I have grandkids and a huge family, Easter will be even more fun.